Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad and SuperCoach Pro. Today we have a special guest on episode 4, SDS SuperCoach, our segment Jump On, Jump Off. How you going today, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Keen to get to Adelaide on Thursday, so pretty pumped for this. Big talking point. A few things have happened today with certain defenders, so it's going to be a pretty interesting episode of Jump On, Jump Off, mate.
All right. Well, the first player, most traded out. We'll actually get you to start this one. Is Doherty. Go for it. Take us away.
I don't think I really need to talk about this much. A lot of people are trying to bring him, take him out of the side this week anyway, but he's now out for 4 to 6 weeks with a meniscus tear. So yeah, he is a clear trade out. If you have him, get him out. He has to go. 4 to 6 weeks too long.
Yep, done. All right. I don't need to speak about Doherty either, so I think it's pretty well summed up. And Liam Jones, I think I'm keeping him. I'm holding him. So I'm not jumping off this pick. He's got a low break even. He's only traded out because that 45, but that was in wet conditions against Richmond. So without Alex Keefe, actually, we're talking about off air, and without Crozier back there, we're not sure if he'll do more of a lockdown role, him and Bruce, but we just feel like there's a lot of points there for intercepting in general. So I personally holding. What do you think of Liam Jones?
Yeah, I traded him out after round 2. I can totally understand anyone that's keeping him. I'd probably keep him because, like, unless you got a heap of money in the bank, you can upgrade. But I'd probably hold because I don't really like anyone else below him. There's Michelini that some people might bring in, but I'm not sure if it's worth a trade at this point. I think we've just got to admit that we missed the boat on Michelini and just hold an extra trade, keep Jones.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then third on our list is Mackenzie. Being the Hawks, man, you actually kick us off with this one. You know more about Mackenzie than what I would ever know. So what do you think about Mackenzie jumping off?
Um, he's been a bit frustrating the past few weeks just due to no CBAs, but Will Day is suspended for 2 weeks. I wonder if I reckon it's worth holding on to him. One, he's playing GWS, so that's a bit of an easier side. I think we've seen with Hawks players where Essendon, they're doing a lot better, but they're not. I'm not sure if they're going to end up being top 8 at the end of the year. Maybe 10th to 11th would be my guess at this stage. Uh, so he went well against Essendon, went well against North Melbourne, who are probably going to be bottom 6. And then he hasn't done well against Sydney and Geelong. I think he's going to get more CBAs with Will Day out of the side. So I think that alone is probably just worth holding. His break even's like 13 as well, so he won't go under that. So I think he's worth keeping for one more week, but he's probably a bloke that we need to jump ship soon. But yeah, I'd probably hold Mackenzie.
Yeah, I have to strongly agree. I think I'm holding him purely based on his break even and the Will Day factor as well. So yeah, and transitioning to Warpool as well, I think same sort of thing. Like you got no day there, so I think those two are going to get his CBAs. So I'd probably hold on to these guys both for another 2 weeks. I mean, if you bought in Warpool after his 90s, you're probably holding him. But if you started him, then I'd probably jump ship if you wanted to. But at this point, unless you can clearly upgrade, I don't see any good downgrades, and I'm not even keen on any rookies on the bubble this week. So for me, it's only up. But unless you went something really poddish like going to Dom Sheed because he missed a week with his throat. But I just think Warpool he's not gonna be the 90 guy average that we all expected. He's probably around the 80, so he's probably not going to lose much, not going to gain much. So for me, I'd probably just hold it at round 4. I don't think he's a must move on. I think there's other injury issues that people are going to go through. What do you think about Warps, mate?
Yeah, I think he's a hold because once again the Will Day factor. I think we'll see a couple more blokes get increased CBAs. Like Day had 82% CBAs against Geelong. They have to go somewhere. So I think Warple's averaging in the 50s in terms of CBAs over the past couple of weeks. I expect that to increase. I think we'll see that with Mackenzie as well. So I'd hold and probably move ship if once Day comes back. But if he's going monstrous, then obviously hold. I'd hold Warple personally.
Yeah. What about Philippou? I don't actually own him, so what are your thoughts about him? I haven't watched him, to be honest. I haven't.
I don't own him. I don't own him either, and I'm just gonna quickly check his break even, if I can know my Wi-Fi's crap. I still think it's a little bit low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind Filippo to, yeah, his break even's 20. Yeah, that's fine. He's going up against a tougher side though this week, so maybe one to bench just in case, because just in case Collingwood bounce back really strongly against the Saints. This is certainly their toughest opponent this year. The only way I'd probably trade him is if you want to downgrade him to Jacob Van Rooyen. But because if you're not going to field him, maybe just nah. I'd probably look. Probably most cases I'd probably hold. But if you need a bit of extra cash, because I think he could score. I reckon he could score poorly this week. So if you want to jump ship, I don't blame you if you want to get some extra cash in for with Van Rooyen. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd hold him if I personally had him. I think it's as easy as that one for me. I think it's all about break evens. Even with Alan Davey, I've heard he's sort of a bit injured, but he's got a negative break even of 1. Unless you're struggling to field rookies and you've got too many loopholes, then I can understand you want a better scorer. But even with Van Ruin that we're speaking about at the moment, I just saw an article about actually AFL News is saying that Gordon will be back within 1 to 2 weeks. So I just don't like the Van Ruin pick anymore. Had I known that earlier, I wouldn't have suggested to even go early on him. So for me, any of these rookies in general, unless they're actually injured like a Chesser, I'd probably keep like -1 break even. He's still going to make 23 if he scores 50. And who knows? Some of these tougher sides doesn't really matter if they're small forwards. They can still bob up and kick 2 sneaky goals and score you a 50. I personally don't think I really started too many small forwards in Supercoach over the years because I've hated that role. But yeah, I'd be holding Davey. What's your thoughts about Davey?
I probably disagree. I'm thinking of trading him just because Essendon's fixtures are really starting to get a lot hard now. A lot harder. They got Melbourne, Collingwood, I think Geelong in their next 3, Port away. Like that's a tough next 4, especially for a small forward that we normally start to see these first year players run a little bit out of gas, and he hasn't exactly been in the greatest form. So I don't know how much more money he's got to make personally. So if you need to downgrade Davey to, I know you're not big on Van Rooyen, but if you're really desperate on getting, like, if you don't have the money to go Dr. Dawson, if you really want to go Jordan Dawson, then he's probably a guy, because I'm not sure how much more money he's going to make. I know his break even's a bit negative, but I'm not too sure how he's going to go over the next month. Personally, I think we could see a couple of scores in the 20s. That's just my prediction, but I guess the smart way would be to hold. But I can totally understand if people want to trade. I'm considering trading him if I want to get cash for Dawson. So yeah, hold or trade, I don't mind.
Yeah, fair. Chester, I think we can skip on. Cogs for
Yeah.
me. I owned him last year and he had these games. So if we have a look at the CBAs, we haven't really used this tonight yet, but I think his role's still there. So I wouldn't be swapping the guy out. He has these sort of scores in him. I went blank who was going for. I was actually going to go for Tigers because we're taking every GWS player. So I was about to go to Richmond stats for some reason. But his CBAs are still there 82, 82%. Sorry, 82 and 81%. He just uses it poorly. He butchers it a lot. Very much like Taranto, but Taranto's a better player. But no, in all seriousness, though, Cogs, sometimes he just has those games where he does butcher it and he does kick it and it goes straight to the opposition's lap, and then you minus a few points here and there. But his high ceiling makes up for his crap scores. So I'd be holding Cogs. You started him for a reason. He's probably going to finish that sort of top 6 to 8 anyway, so it doesn't really matter for me. I think I'd be keeping Cogs. What are your thoughts on Cogs?
This is why I didn't really want to start him, because I know he has those really poor scores in him, and that's why I saw him at the start of the year as more of an upgrade target. So, I think you hold at this point. Like, the role's still there. If he's your ticket to Oliver, then maybe, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I think you hold, because I think you picked him for a reason. You think he's going to be a top 6 forward. I still think that's going to be the case this year. So yeah, I'd probably hold Stephen Canelio, and I'll quickly say on Chester, I wouldn't trade because there's no one to go to.
Yeah, fair. I just assume most people traded out last week.
Yep,
And like you said, no one to trade to. Cameron, you should have already traded, so I think we can skip over that one.
yep. Trade him.
Yeah, you got to trade. You're not holding the bloke. Like it even says he's not available till around 12 to 14. He's a never again now. But Ben King, he was a hot pick over the preseason. I think everyone was keen on these sort of key forwards because we had no other options at the time. But I can't, for some reason, I can't click on his score and probably come up later. But unless his break even is averaging more than what he averages, I wouldn't get rid of him. He's going to have spike games. I'd probably be looking for that game where a Radaglia sort of type game where he has an 88 and he kicks his score generation again in cash. I'd be waiting for one of those big scores because key forwards can do it. But unless you're fielding him and you need a better field option, then I'd get rid of him. What are your thoughts on Kingy, mate?
I think his break even's in the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would trade
Who do they got this week?
because they got Freo, so he might go half all right because I don't think Freo are that good. But yeah, I don't think he can run the risk of if he gets a 40, at least he holds his price. I think he'd better off just jumping ship. And I know you're not hot on Van Rooyen, but at least that's a 100K in the bank, and you can just hope that he stays in price. So yeah, I'd trade King personally.
Yeah, we've got some opposites, so the viewers will be happy we're not agreeing on every ring and yeah, mate, yeah, sort of thing. So, yeah, different opinions. Probably still going to cop it in the comments from grabbing a Marnie, but that's a different story. Now the trade, um, JVR. I feel like I'm not hot this week purely because the Gorn news. Maybe Melbourne supporters can give us a shout and let us know what you think his job security is, even if Gorn's back in the side. But then they've also got Ben Brown coming back into the side. McDonald just played as well. So how many tools can you play? I know Van Ruin's 191 or around that height, so he's not a key forward, but I just feel like they've got too many tools for him to get consistent games. Um, Especially looking at their list, we've gone out. I sort of thought he might have a role there, but Gorn and Brown back next fortnight, it just worries me. I don't think I can do it personally. And if I've got all these rookies, how much money am I actually going to make more? Unless there's a guy that's already, he's got a 60 break even, to make sense. But if he's got under 30 or under 40, I'd probably wait for a Fergus Green type score and where you get a 70 and then you can make some more cash off that. I'd be holding these rookies now until I see someone that's coming out of the blocks in the next week or two that debuts and we go, all right, let's jump on him for job security. And I don't know, a few injuries have gone that they're going to be long-term injuries rather than Van Rooyen. So I've done a backflip on this and I apologise to anyone I've advised on it. I'm personally not going for it. What do you think of this bloke, mate?
I'd jump on. Like, I just think we're so dull on, because I'm sure we all have blokes in our side where we'd just love to get off this dead pick or whatever. We might have like a 230K bloke like Ben King, for example, that just isn't lining it up. Like last week I got Phillips all wrong. And sometimes I think you just need to jump on and hope.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Brown might not play this week. I think he's a test or something.
Yeah.
I was seeing a few Melbourne fans on Twitter saying, "Oh, I think they're gonna keep getting games into the bloke." So, I got Will Phillips wrong last week. Yeah, I'd probably jump on if you're looking to make a downgrade. If you've got a Filippo, if you've got a Ben King, and just more hope, because I mean, if he can stay in the side, I think he'll at least make 100K. So he can pinch hit in the ruck once again this week. Yeah, I'd probably jump on. If you want to get in Dawson or something, and this is your bloke to save a bit of money, then yeah, I'd jump on. I'm really considering getting him in or making one trade for Doc, but yeah, I'll jump on.
All right. And what about your boy Dawson? What do you think about this one?
Well, the top two of the blokes, I'm considering getting in, but it's one of the two options. The other is just to swap Dr. Stewart. Dawson, I think, could do 115 at this role, but he does have a tough fixture coming up. But he looks like the guy there now. Like he's the bloke they want to get the ball in their hands to. That was always the case, but now it's more in the midfield. And yeah, we just know how much more opportunity there is to score points in that midfield. Your ceiling increases. Break even at 67. Lord knows when we're going to be able to get him back in the side. If you want to jump on, it probably has to be this week, because you just don't know when you're going to be able to get him back in your side. So he's usually a pretty consistent player as well. So you rarely see a score under 80. He's just super safe, not playing injured. So yeah, I'd jump on if you can. Don't ruin your side to get him, but if you can, I'd jump on. He is the best option to replace Doherty. It's just whether you want to make two trades or if you can do it in one, do it. So that's what I think.
Yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer too. Look at his next three. He doesn't score well against Hawthorn, so I wonder if anything to do with that last year was a McGuinness tag. But I think regardless, he probably is number one or number two, D1, D2 out there. So I won't touch up on it too more. I think he's a definite for replacement for Doherty. Like you said, if you got the money, if you don't have the money, it's a little bit tougher. But outside of Dawson, like you said, his ceiling, him and Stewart's ceiling are the best for any defenders that you could actually VC. So yeah, he's definitely a jump on, and I think there's reason to this week with forced trades rather than just sidewaysing trades, unless you're stuck with Ridley like I was last week and you are this week. So you could do something like if you got the cash in the bank, bring in both of those players. So speaking of which, this is the other guy I'm probably more likely to go with because I can do it in one trade. That's Tommy Stewart. He's the biggest burn man. Every time I bring him in, he just falls apart. So if I bring him in, no one else bring him in, or else you're all stuffed. For me, the 92 isn't scary because they pumped the Hawks, unfortunately, and the Hawks barely had it their end in that last half of the game, really. So a 92 in a smashing is probably a green flag, if anything. I know you're concerned about Duncan, which you can talk about in a second, but for me, I just think he's always scored well and he's always never been accountable. So he's a good defender in the sense that he's a loose man. They're always looking for him. He's a ball hog. It's like he has himself in his own SuperCoach team because he's just so consistent. We are worried, I'm assuming, about his injuries. Do they rest him? But I don't think they can afford to rest him with how far they are behind at the moment. I know it's only a game or two, but I think they'll be resting maybe more their key forwards like Jeremy Cameron and Hawkins the more I think about it because they don't got a lot of good backs down there. They can get scored against pretty quickly, as we saw in that first quarter if they don't get their shit together. So for me, Stewart's a trade in, mate. What do you think about Stewart?
I think he's the second best option to replace the Doherty. So I don't really have any issue if you just want to side swap Doherty to Stewart if you can. But if you got the money to get Dawson, I'd do it. I'm just scared. Like I brought him in once he finished his suspension. He was pretty crap in all honesty. And then I started him and he gets injured. So I'm probably at a bit of a similar boat to you where I'm just nervous having this bloke on my side. Like I can understand the history and all that, but why I prefer Dawson is Stewart's break even's pretty low this week, but
69.
Due to the 92, I think he's going to be like 140 break even after this. And then like it's going to be like a 122 and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. So
Yeah, you're right. It is.
103, 142, 124. He'll stay around this price for maybe 3 to 4 weeks potentially. So, which is why I prefer Dawson as well, because he's just going to skyrocket up if you can't get him in. While Dawson's just going to hopefully hang around this price for a fair bit, but we do know his ceiling. I'd jump on if you only want to just side swap Docky to Stewart. If you can get in Dawson, I reckon you should. But yeah, I don't know. Dawson's one of those. Stewart's one of those blokes where I'd rather him be my last upgrade down back, not this early in the year, just due to his injury history and he can sometimes go out for 4 weeks due to suspension due to a stupid hit. But Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll jump on if you just want to make one trade.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then Max, I don't even know how to say his name, McElhaney. He's got a minus break even of 45. He's 244. I think the ship has sailed, in all honesty. I know people are getting hyped over his last two scores, but it's so quick for these defenders at this age to sort of go back to the 48s and 62s. I think a lot of people are sidewaysing him to Jones, but I think they're going to make the same sort of cash from here on out. So I think if you started him, great, but I don't think there's any hype in picking a sort of a key position defender at 240 in my books, mate. What do you think about him?
Certainly, I can see how you've arrived to that conclusion. Shout out to Brad Lewis on that comment last week, who gave us a few suggestions instead of saying, "Yeah, fair enough, mate." I'm not sure if you saw that comment, but I thought I'd chuck that in there. I hope Brad Lewis is watching. Who watched Jump On Jump Off last week, so I can see how you've arrived to that conclusion. Ship has sailed. Don't get on him.
Yeah,
I know his break even's very low. I know. But with Mackay playing and Curnow playing, don't you think he'll play more accountable this week?
yeah, most definitely. I think he will. I just don't think he'll average 80 or hundreds or anything crazy for us to go on. I think if you score those first two, above 70, then I'd consider it. But I just think anyone over 200 as a rookie is probably not worth trading in unless they're on the bubble like an Amani. But we won't speak about that pick. But for me, it's just not a jump on at this stage, and you're probably sidewaysing a guy that's going to do the same as what you've already got anyway. Really, that's the main factor.
Yeah, like I know he's probably more of a third interceptor, but uh, I just do you think he'll make another 150k? I'm not too sure. Like you've missed and like 110k worth of money there, so
Agreed.
I know his break even's really low. If you got on last week, you're in a good spot. Like 187, it was worth it. But I'm not sure at 244.
No, what do you take us away with Dacos, mate? Why don't people have him, and why should they bring him in?
Trade him in next.
Yeah, that's
Must have. Like, just please get him in. If you're watching this and you don't have him, please get him in. It'll save you from not going to therapy.
Yeah, he literally will. And I lucky I brought him in last week. I actually traded him for Ridley, and I gained myself 60 points. And then I went, who's the other good trade? Not my third trade, but my second trade was a good pick as well. I went decam to English, and then I stuck my third pick. Brody Grundy. I don't know why people are trading Grundy in. I think it'd have to be for Nankervis, who's stuffed his ankle, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, he's a trade in. I don't think he's a sideways from a Marshall per se, because Gorn's going to be back sooner than what we thought. But, yeah, unless it's for Nank, I can't see a reason why you'd bring him in. Sean Darcy's playing well again. I think you missed the boat. You would have grabbed him last week. But, yeah, I can see a world where if you've got an injured ruckman or you haven't traded Decam for some stupid reason, yeah, you got to bring him in. His next three opponents are pretty good. I mean, he's got Draper, then he's got no one but Samson Ryan, so he's going to go 160. Hopefully Gorn's back by then so he doesn't go nuts. And then he's got North, who Goldstein will actually play well. So I wouldn't worry about that North Melbourne fixture, but his next two does look juicy, mate. What do you think of Grundy?
I think if you're going to bring him in, it should have been last week. Otherwise, because you've now missed that 144. You missed the Sydney 143. Yeah, probably no point now. Like, Gorn's going to be back in 1 or 2 weeks. So I can understand if you want to bring in. I understood if you wanted to bring in Grundy last week, but I don't really get it now. If you got, like, I'd rather bring in Darcy, to be honest. He's looked a lot better. He looked really good last week. I prefer Darcy if you want maybe more of a long-term option over Grundy. So, especially if you're low on trades, I wouldn't be worrying about bringing in Grundy because you're going to have to trade him out in a week or two anyway.
Yeah. I was going to take this one to you, but I'll do it in a sec. Because I'm a Richmond nut, I can probably give a little bit more insight. So Nank's down. So we'll probably use Samson Ryan in the ruck more than what I think we'll use Ben Miller. I think a lot of the fans are actually saying Miller over Ryan, but I think purely Ryan's height, he's so much bigger. He's 206. Miller is about 196 or 198, I want to say. And I don't think it's big enough to compete against some of the ruckman in the league. So I think Samson Ryan, I wouldn't actually jump on this week. It sounds stupid because Nank's out, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets towed and he scores a 60 or 70 against Adams or not even close. So I'd rather wait a week because he's highly likely that we, drop him for Miller and then we bring in a biggie Ewan. So I don't care if Samson Ryan gets to 200, 220, even 250 before I jump on this bloke because A, I'm not sure when Soldo's coming back, and B, we've got a couple ruckmen in the VFL that are sort of doing all right, and I don't think Samson Ryan has a ceiling to go too crazy to buy in right now. I think you can wait a bit. If Rowan Marshall starts having these weird games, getting subbed out more often than not, and or you got Draper or something like that, perhaps. But I think you can actually buy your time on this pick. He's not a must. Like I said, we've got two other ruckmen. Newen's killing it. He's actually a key defender. We've played him ruck in the VFL in the last 3 or 4 games. And then the other one's Miller. So I'm not sure what their split will be because if he gets a 50-50 split with Miller, he's not even going to be worth grabbing in anyway. Unless you got a dead rookie or you're running Madden and you want a cash generation, I'd bring him in this week. But if you've already got a Glare or someone that's already just reset their break even like a Fergus Green, I wouldn't do it, mate. So that's a bit of a long way explanation, but it's really horses for courses for me. What do you think about Samson Ryan, mate?
I won't talk about it too much because you obviously know more about the Tigers than me. But look, keep an eye on the team sheets. Because Tom Lynch is out as well, so they might just maybe they just want to play Miller on the ruck. But I'd keep an eye on the team sheets. I'd almost say a big no if Miller is named as a ruck and Samson Ryan's named as that second key forward. That for me screams 50-50 split. Because Tom Lynch out hurts. It helps his job security 1,000%. He'll play week in, week out for a little bit, but yeah, I'd probably, I wouldn't jump. I don't think I'll jump. I don't think I'd jump on it actually with Ryan.
Yep. Well, we actually grabbed Jack Rewalt back, so he won't even be second key forward. I actually assume it'd actually be Jack at full forward, Cumberland centre half forward. They'll leave Dusty in the forward line as well. I think it'll be Miller down back, chopping out. I think Samson will get ruck as well, but I'm not sure he'll win enough hitouts to be a legitimate pick. And I also think that if he has 1 or 2 bad games, they bring in Big and Ewan because our season's already shot, really. So I think they'll try to play some senior bodies, but they've already got playing Revolt. So I don't think it'll be a main target anyway, Ryan. Like, even with 3 goals, he only scored like a 60. So I still think you can wait on this guy. He scored 72 against Adelaide, so 3 goals. Like, if he's got to do that 3 goals and hitouts, it's just a little bit crazy. I don't think he's going to score 3 goals again this year, really, to how poor we're doing. So he's not a guy that we need to jump on unless he goes like 100 and then you think, oh, okay, his break-even's insane and he needs another 50 to spike it, then I'll jump on. So probably enough Ryan talk because I'm a Tigers forward. But, yeah, let's go on to the next player. I've actually forgotten who's on the list.
Yeah, see how Ryan goes this week.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What do you think about Cameron? Take us away.
If you got him in draft, you're laughing, but he just kicked 7 goals. I know in my opinion, he's the best player in the competition, but he's going to be too inconsistent as a scorer. I wouldn't jump on. No.
Ooh, I'm going to be.
He scored?
I'd jump on
with Cameron.
Yeah, the reason being is he's a VC and C option just about every week. The guys, more of a VC. I'm not sure how many Geelong early games they have, but I actually like the Cameron pick. I think if you're as far as back as what I am, or you're really having a slow start, I think he's the sort of pod move that could get you somewhere. And if I was to bring him in, it'd have to be this week. That's why I can see why people bring him in. He plays West Coast. He's probably kicking 10. Hawkins seems to be not playing as well this year. Looks like he's finally declined. I'd actually bring this guy in as a pod. I think his high ceiling will even out his lower scores. So, yeah, he's a jump on for me, surprisingly. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Keep in mind Hawkins is injured, playing injured, but yeah, I get what you mean. They're all playing injured, it seems, down at the Cattery. No wonder they don't give us much in pre-season notes or anything. So, yeah, Well articulated, sir. I'll concur. Shout out, Brad.
Who
Got
doesn't?
one more here I can use.
He better give us like 10 new channels and then subscribe to us and
You
give us.
better be watching. We are replying to comments while doing this. So, yeah.
We have to
All
get
right, Tim.
on time already.
Yeah.
Tim English, 648. Jump on. I don't think there's too much to speak about with his scoring. Like he's going nuts. He's 134, 139, 139, 145. I think he's just a good VC and C option, like we were speaking about off air every day of the week. He doesn't really get his points from hitouts as much as you'd like, but he just gets around the ground so well, so mobile. And we've seen what he did last year before he got concussed. He had this heater, and can he maintain it all season? Who knows? He might even be the number one player for the year. He already is with Dacos, so it's just crazy. It's a jump on, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, jump on if you've got Nank, if you've got Cameron, if you've got Darcy still. I mean, yeah, just try to get this bloke in. If you can. If you got Grundy, that it might actually help until Gorn comes back. He's going to make a lot of money, Grundy, so it might be an easy swap there. So, yeah, I'd jump on English if you can. It's going to be a bit hard now, though.
Yeah, if anyone in the top 1,000 wants to give me their side and we can change it to SuperCoach Pro and I can start from the top 1,000, that'd be great. Mitch, this is really left field. This is a Brad pick this year, so this is really speculative. I haven't really looked into him. I don't know if I got him in draft, but someone's got to. I can't see why you'd jump on. It's weird. It must be just a point chasing thing. Everyone's saying 143.
Yep.
I thought he's more of a forward. Do you know if he plays forward for Saints? He's not a midfielder, is he?
Yeah. He's playing key forward. He's doing really well for the Saints. He got a Rising Star nomination this week. No, there's no point now. Congrats to anyone that started him. I have a couple of St Kilda mates that I'm going to Adelaide with this week that started him, probably due to their bias, but it's worked out extremely well. He's been one of the better cash cows for the year. That's another one that we've certainly missed. But I think he's gone. I think he's gone under the radar because I think we all thought St Kilda were going to do pretty bad this year, but they look the total opposite. They look like a definite final side early days. Yeah. So no, there's really no point now. If you want to go with someone around that price, go Cozzy Pickett.
Yeah, we were speaking about him too. I was just having a look at this. I know we've done all the jump on and jump off segment, but who would have thought in your top 10 is Pendlebury and Jeremy Cameron? What the hell is going on, SuperCoach?
And Luke Ryan, like, what is this?
Tim Kelly, 19. What the hell?
Mason Wood, DeGoey.
This is why I'm doing bad, because they're all players that shouldn't be here. Literally. You know what we need to do? We've got 5 minutes left, is actually do the footy tips. I forgot last week. I got 6 last week. How much? I only know because my work tipping. How much did you get last week?
I got 7, so I think I'm like 2 ahead.
Shit. All right, I've got to do something.
Which is all right. All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll call out the games. You can tip. Yeah. We'll both tip. Adelaide Carlton. I'm going Carlton.
I'm going Carlton. Yep.
Could be sneaky for Adelaide, but I'll go Carlton. Freo Gold Coast.
Oh. Freo.
I'm going Freo as well, but Gold Coast could certainly win that. Richmond Sydney, going to that game.
I'm going Sydney. I'm not biased.
Yeah, I'm going Sydney as well. Brisbane North, I'm going Brizzy.
Yeah, Brizzy as well.
That's at Mount Barker, by the way. I'm not going, but shout out to any people that watching this in Mount Barker. Great for the community to get a game there. Good wineries you have there for sure. Essendon versus Melbourne. I'm going to this game. I'm going to go Melbourne.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Might be a sneaky reality check for the Bombers, I reckon, with that game. Port Adelaide Dogs. I'm going Port.
Yeah, I'm going Port because of Dogs' injuries.
And home game as well. Cats Eagles, pretty easy. Geelong.
Yeah. Oh. Giants over Hawthorn.
Yeah, I'm going Giants too. I'm driving for 9 hours. I hope we can at least try. It'd be tough driving all that way to see us get pumped by 10 goals again, but No, I don't think we'll win, especially without Day. That hurts massively. Like every other player sucks at the minute. So, yeah, Giants win that. And then Collingwood St Kilda, game of the round. Everyone's crying that it's not in Melbourne, but suck it up. We gather round every other week in Melbourne. So I'm going Collingwood.
Yeah, I'm on the Pies too. I didn't actually think we'd tip the same this week, so that's really strange.
Did we tip the same?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's 3 out of 5 weeks that we've tipped the same. So I'll stay 2 ahead no matter what. That's all right. Nah, long way to go. 19 more rounds after that. So, yeah, thank you for having me on the channel, Brad. It's always good to do this segment with you, weekly segment. We'll keep doing this. We might eventually, when everyone's run out of trades come the end of the year, we might talk more about footy and stuff. But, yeah, good to be on the channel, mate.
Thanks. No worries. We'll do a segment next time on your channel. So, yeah, thanks again for sharing your thoughts on Jump On, Jump Off. I'll make sure I don't put any weird titles again this time because you know me, I just always put weird titles and wondering why the views aren't going as good as they are. So, yeah.
No, that's all right, mate. No, good to do it again, and I'll post it next week, and hopefully there's less carnage.
All right, go Hawks for you, and hopefully the Tigers.
Also, wait, viewers might want to ask if they've got Will Day. Would you keep or hold?
Oh, if you're playing for ranking, you've got to get rid of him personally. What do you think?
That's so tough because 2's like in the middle. If it was more than 2, you would certainly get rid of him. If it was under, you would keep him. So it's a really tough situation. If you've overtraded, I'd probably just but then Ginby might be rested. I'd probably hold if you can. If you've got a lot of trades so you can afford to bring him back in 2 weeks, I'd just trade him back in. But yeah, I'd probably trade if you're not going to be able to field a defense. Yeah, I'd probably just trade.
Yeah, I think it almost depends not on how many trades, is how many upgrades. So if you've got 10 upgrades, you need 20 trades. So I would probably calculate it more like that. Would you think that's how you calculate your trades, or do you then include some on top of injury as well?
Yeah, I do on top of injuries as well. So I think I need like 19 of 20 trades to finish my side. So yeah, I'd hold if you can, but if you've got a lot of trades, you can trade.
All right, we've got about 60 seconds, so I better try to find the stop button. So I do apologize to any viewers that see 15 seconds of a blank screen. It's because I always forget where stop is. So I'll leave it there, Steve. Have a good night, and I'll catch you on the next one, eh?
All right, cheers. Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe.
Cheers.
Oh, no, you've done it again.